Hello, Work Compare community. How are you? This is Matt. I'm sure by now you are aware that State Fund has filed a completely new pricing model that became effective on March 15th, 2024. We've been getting a lot of questions about specifically their LCM tiers and how do you know which one to pick. So I wanted to put together this video and walk you through what goes into their LCM tiers and how to kind of make sense of this on the fly when you are evaluating any given risk. This stands out as being very different from last year's pricing tiers for State Fund, and it can be a little bit confusing. How do you know which one your underwriter is going to assign? The good news is that it's something you can figure out on your own. Maybe not perfectly, but you can get very close. So I want to walk you through how that works. When you click into the details, find the market information tab, and you can see down here at the bottom of the page, there are some buttons that link to additional information. The one you want to look at is the LCM tier rule. So when you click it, you can see it opens a new browser tab, and this is information that comes directly out of their filing that was effective on March 15th. And let me kind of walk you through this. I'm actually going to go to the second page first and start here. You can see the LCM tiers are very, very different. The lowest tier is basically base rates modified by 1.118. That's a little more than 1 times base rates, where the highest tier is almost 4 times base rates. So if you had your choice, obviously you'd want down here, but the way this works is every account is scored from, it's given 1 point based on different questions, and an account can score a 0 up to a 6, where 6 is going to get them the greatest discount in their LCM. So the criteria is on page 1 here. This, again, comes directly out of their filing. And let me kind of quickly scroll through what each of these means, and then we'll go back to my sample account and kind of put it into practice here. So the first criteria is basically their credit rating. It comes from Dun & Bradstreet, and if Dun & Bradstreet thinks that this employer pays their bills on time, that means that they're going to get a 1 point. If Dun & Bradstreet thinks that they don't, they're going to get 0. Second criteria is wage relativity. And this can be calculated against industry data, but you may just stare at the ceiling and ask yourself, do they pay a high wage or a low wage? And you can give your account 1 point or 0 based on that. The third criteria is experience mod. So if it's better than average experience mod, below 1, it's going to get a point. If it's above average experience mod, above 1, it's going to get no points. Fourth criteria is claim frequency. It's like wage relativity. You may know, you could calculate it, but accounts that generate a low wage, claims frequency below 100% is going to get a point. Above it is going to get no points. Fifth criteria is hazard grade. If it's a low hazard grade, it's going to get a point. A high hazard grade, it's going to get 0. And the last is the risk size. And there's a threshold here of 215,000 in premium. So if it's a bigger account, it's going to get a point, and a lower account or a smaller account, it's going to get no points. So the spoiler alert here is that this model is definitely favoring bigger accounts. Big accounts that pay well with low X mod, low claims frequency, low hazard grade, and giant premium is going to fall into this low pricing tier, this LCM tier. Can you think of any accounts like that? Not sure. All right, let's go back to the sample here. And let me kind of walk you through how to quickly make sense of this, or guide the process, if you will, when you are running an estimate for your account this year. So my sample is a carpentry account. I am imagining a July 1st renewal. The experience mod is 1.2. And when I get down here to the state fund LCM tiers, I'm trying to make sense of this quickly and figure out which one of these should I be focusing on. What is the pricing range that I'm expecting from state fund? You can see the pricing difference is a lot. I clearly want them here and I don't want them here, but it's going to be based on their methodology that determines that. Let me kind of walk you through the thought process of how this is going to work. Okay, so you can pull up this criteria and refer to it as you ask yourself these questions and imagine what score this account's going to get. Let's start at the top. Does Dun & Bradstreet think that they pay their bills on time? Well, this is a good-sized contractor, but I don't believe that they're going to appear in the Dun & Bradstreet database, so that's automatically going to give it a 0. Second question is wage relativity. I know they pay a good wage. I could look up the industry data, but I'm not exactly sure if they're going to meet that threshold or not. It could be a point. It could be no points. So let's say maybe 1 on this one. Third criteria, XMOD. Their XMOD is 1.2, so this is going to be a 0. The claims frequency. I know in this case that they have great claims frequency, so I'm going to assume that they are going to be below that threshold. I'm going to give them a point for this one. Fifth criteria, hazard grade. Carpentry accounts, high hazard. I could look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's above a 3. I'm going to give it a 0. And the size of risk is definitely going to be below that 215,000, so that's going to be a 0. So I am estimating that we might get 1 here and we get 1 here. My score is going to be a 2 or maybe a 1. So if you look on the second page, you can see that based on the points, this account's going to qualify for an LCM 50 or 60. Now I have something that I can focus on. I think it's going to be, I'm hoping it's going to be LCM 50 and not 60, but it's definitely not going to be better than 50 and not worse than 60. So now I've been able to target my pricing range and get a sense of what state fund could be coming in at, and that's going to help make sense of all of the other options that we are considering for this account at renewal. I hope this helps. If you have questions or you want to go a little bit deeper on this topic, just reach out and let us know. We would love to engage with you and we'd be happy to set up some training for your team. Thanks for watching.